Hey guys, my name is Richard Green for Blockchain Camp. I am your host and digital asset educator where we're trying to make crypto simple for you. Okay, guys, in our last episode on our Blockchain Camp podcast, we discussed about the OTC. If you want to check that out, we discussed how the OTC markets can impact price and supply equilibrium on exchanges. And so if you'd like to check that out, it's a really interesting listen. Go ahead, blockchaincamp.podbean.com or on your Google Play or Apple iStore. Check out Blockchain Camp. It's free, it's educational. We hope you like it. Today, guys, is February the 5th, 2019. Overall market cap is trading at around 113 billion, which is kind of close to the bottom that we reached recently, which was around 100 million, I believe. If I can find 100 billion, sorry. So back in December-ish, we hit a low of 101 billion, and then we had a very slight relief rally if you zoom in on it. And now we are trading close to 113 billion, with Bitcoin sitting at around 3,500, trading in this range. Now, we've said in the past that we're looking forward to when Bitcoin is able to retest that 3,200 support, because it tested it last time, but it didn't break, into 3,270. They're about 3,200, but then we had this short bounce here up to 4,000. We've been consolidating ever since. And during this time, volume has died down significantly, and we've seen a lot of attention going into altcoins, especially the low Satoshi altcoins. A lot of people call these shit coins, but there's some interesting strategies around investing in these low sat coins. Now, I see low sat coins as penny stocks. Essentially, a lot of them have a very large circulating supply, a large total supply in general. And oftentimes, if we're coming from the investing world of stocks, we tend to group them in the same basket. But in crypto, it's a little different. There's some tools and strategies for filtering out these proverbial shitcoins to finding some good opportunities. And one tool that I've used in the past and I've mentioned here is the altcoin high index. That's the athindex.com. And essentially, it shows you the percentage decrease since a project's all-time high. You can see Bitcoin right now at $3,400 is about 82% off the all-time high. And we're in the longest bear market with 416 days since a previous high. It's possible that we may see another year and a half of some sideways action. But as we affirm leading into the halvening in 2020, we do expect to see a strong rally into Bitcoin to retest those all-time highs. So not to fear. So what is a low Satoshi, low sat coin, you ask? Well, let's look at XVG, for example. XVG is trading at 168 Satoshis. This is the smallest individual unit for trading against Bitcoin. It's trading in Satoshis after Satoshi Nakamoto, of course. It has a whopping supply of 16.5 billion. And now, if you were in the previous bear market looking at this, you might think, "Oh my goodness, this is unreal. There's so much supply, especially comparing to Bitcoin, which only has 21 million. This guy has 16.5 billion max supply with 15.1 in circulation currently." And what I want to bring to your attention is this is the bear market that they were experiencing when XVG first came out. As you can see, the Satoshi values were extremely low. We're talking about from as low as 5 sats to as low as 20 sats, and then we saw this massive pump. Now, guys, stick with me here. We saw this massive pump. We see a lot of healthy volume, 3.8 million, 4 million. So the volume's well over a million. And then during the last hyperwave in 2017, we see a rally from 54 Satoshis all the way up to 1725. Let's do quick maths. 1725 divided by 50 is 34.5x, meaning if you had invested $1,000 in XVG, you'd be at the all-time high, up $34,000. Now, shitcoins are called shitcoins because of their pump and dump nature. You rarely see a chart that looks completely flat and completely vertical. And so this is the pump and dump aspect of it. And because each Satoshi is worth so much more as it pumps, that's how you're able to get these massive gains. And we saw that since that previous bear market trading at less than 10 Satoshis, this has now rested at 168 in the second bear market that it's going through. So XVG is just one example. Tron, which has been very popular. Justin's son is the Mr. Shill guy on this one. And as you can see, Tron had a similar situation. Tron was trading at around 20, 30 Satoshis. And then during that hyper bull wave, the first leg up, 275 sats. The second leg up, 1687 sats. Quick maths again, guys. 1687 divided by, say, about 25 sats. You're looking at 67x return. Again, it's a quote-unquote shitcoin, but the returns were there if you had your timing appropriately. Third example I like to look at is DENT. Now, DENT, I'm not a big fan of this project. I don't know too much about it, but just comparing apples to apples in reasonable volume to 1.4 million traded on Binance, XVG, almost a million in volume. Obviously, Tron is outpacing these guys at 250 billion in volume. Sorry, 250 million in volume. That's just ridiculous. DENT has a similar situation. We see low sats of 7.6 moving up to the pump 12 sats. And if you were able to catch this first wave at 62 sats, even if you did that, this bad boy went up to 581 sats. That's another 10x return right there. So what am I trying to say, guys? What I'm trying to say is look for patterns that the crypto community has to offer. Oftentimes, it pays to be a contrarian in the crypto market. When people are calling things a shitcoin is usually the time you might want to be buying it. Common quotation is buy on fear, sell on greed. Three projects that I think that are worth looking at that are comparable to Verge, Tron, and Dent are now today Holo, Pundi, and BitTorrent. What do we find when we look at Holo? Holo is extremely early in its infancy stage, and they've had some extremely healthy volume, trading on Binance, $16 million in daily volume in the last 24 hours. Yes, the circulating supply is extremely large. I'm not sure if we covered Holo in detail, but they are releasing their Holo ports Q1 of 2019, which are essentially nodes that can be run by individuals in their home using just a plug-and-play system that allows them to host a decentralized internet, essentially, and get rewarded for their hosting. And I think this is going to be an emerging trend over the next 2 to 3 years. So we saw a low of 7 sats in the range of 13, 15 sats on Holo, and Holo is now trading at 38 sats. My entry, full disclosure, was around 7 to 8 sats is where I was accumulating before in the days of IDEX, before it was listed onto Binance. And Holo had actually peaked at, I think, 46 sats at the high, and now it's trading around 38. Now it's, I think it's a little high for an entry. We're ranked number 27 for Holo. But I think a good entry at 25 sats, 20 sats for a long-term view is possible, guys, to return to yield returns like what we saw previously with Dent, Tron, and Verge. And again, this is not financial advice. I'm just looking at patterns that occurred in the previous crypto hyper bull wave and what to expect. And so this, again, guys, is the low sat strategy for accumulating Bitcoin. Next up, let's look at Pundi. Pundi is a very interesting project that's aiming for mass adoption through point of sales systems. And so interestingly, both Holo and Pundi have a very mass adoption focused view. Holo with everyone hosting the internet, and Pundi with not only staking but also exchanging crypto at mass scale at the retail level. When Pundi first emerged on the scene in its early days, back in April 2018, they were as low as 10 sats. Then we saw their first pump all the way to 233 sats. So if you're in this play right here, that's a 15 to 20x return on your Satoshis. And of course, we saw some profit taking, and we saw a low of, I think, around 12 sats. And now we're trading back up to about 20 Satoshis. And so I think with the volume, the fact that it's on Binance, the fact that they have shipped out their XPOS systems in the thousands, and there is adoption taking place, only ranked number 40. I don't think it's a far stretch to say that this market cap in a hyperbull wave is at least $1 billion. And I think the same thing with Holo, which is a relatively easy 9 to 10x in my eyes. And that's if you hodl, you hold your bags, you take your profits, and you play strategically. The third coin that's been causing a lot of attention, if you haven't heard of it right now, you're probably living under a rock, is BitTorrent. And a lot of the controversy with BitTorrent comes with Justin Sun and CZ from Binance pumping this token. That's the first thing. The second thing is the extremely large token supply. So if you thought that XVG at 16 billion was high, if you thought that Tron at 99 billion was high, if you thought that Dent at 100 billion was high, if you thought that Holo at 177 billion was high, if you thought that Pundi at 274 billion was high, guys, BitTorrent has 990 billion, almost a trillion in token supply, and they didn't sell a lot to the public. They only raised about 7 million, and so it's just automatically primed for a huge pump. And we saw this project come out in around the 12 to 14 sat range. Full disclosure, I purchased in around 14 sats. And we saw this thing pump all the way to about 36 sats, I believe. Yes, for an easy 3x for market participants, and about a 6 to 8x for ICO holders who participate on Binance. And so I'm comparing BitTorrent, Pundi, and Holo to these three projects right here, Verge, Tron, and Dent. And in my honest opinion, I believe that HOT, Holo, and Pundi, given their team, given the volume, given the execution of their roadmap, are primed, guys. Even if you have a very small percentage of your portfolio in these projects, I think as a low Satoshi strategy, would yield immense returns. And what I love about this is, unlike Verge and Tron, which we sort of know their all-time highs, right? So Tron, we know, is what was it, down 80 something percent on their all-time high, down 88% on the all-time high. XVG, it's probably down about the same, if not 90 or more, 97%, right? And Dent has got to be like 99% down since the all-time high. 99%, right? And so what I love about these three projects is that there is no full price discovery yet. We're still in a bear market. Bitcoin is possibly going down to test that 3,200 once again, and we might break it to go down to 28 to 2,200. It's possible, which will definitely affect these tokens and these projects. But what I can say is that I feel confident enough that in a hyper bull wave, where we begin to see these hockey stick-like formations, that these projects, at least Holo and Pundi, and maybe as the, as a moon bag, so to speak, BTT, but given the high supply, given the manipulation that's taking place on Binance, 670 million in volume. Are you serious? And especially without having a released product. I mean, BitTorrent is released. However, their mechanism for rewarding seeders is not yet developed. That's yet to come out in end of Q1, maybe Q2. So I keep an eye on these three projects, guys, and I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something from this. We're here to make crypto simple, and we're just asking you guys, tune in. If you like it, share what you're hearing. hit us up on Twitter. My personal Twitter tag is I am Rich Green. If you want, you can also hit us up at BlockchainCamp1 at Twitter, and email us if you have any questions or want us to review your portfolio or give you suggestions on risk to reward ratios. Info at blockchaincamp.ca. Guys, we hope you enjoyed this podcast / YouTube screen overlay. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe. Give us your feedback. We'd love to hear from you soon. Again, my name is Richard Green from blockchaincamp.ca, where we exist to make crypto simple for you. Thank you guys for tuning in. We hope to see you soon. Bye for now. Take care.